above that. And if tariff inflation looks like it's going to be temporary and it's a one-time level effect, which I think.
Thanks for your patience, babe. This just makes this morning easier.
Really so our dual mandate says worry about employment and inflation. Look through the inflation, worry about the employment, start cutting.
Let me give you what I think is a textbook argument against what
Show more.
You tell me where I'm wrong with that.
Comments on.
You have a target of 2%. Your inflation
Why does it always do that?
And some people argue going higher.
It takes the comments off.
Cut now, are you saying we are not really going for that target of 2% anymore? Are you undermining your target and your anchoring of inflation expectations?
No, and I think that's where people mistake what you mean by looking through. You know that you're going to have this surge of inflation from the tariffs in the short run, but it's not going to cause longer inflation. So the whole idea of looking through it is to say, yeah, we know we're going to have this blurb of,
Are you shitting me?
blip of inflation, but it's not permanent.
What the fuck is this?
And so why, for a one-time level effect, you want to start, say, raising rates?
Now I gotta scan a QR code?
Market,
You fucking sucking my dick? Provide a photo of your ID.
So that's the classic view of what it means to look through is, yes, it is going up, but that's what looking through means. You're looking through saying 6 months, 7 months out, it's not going to be going up. It'll be starting to move much closer to our target of 2%. So it's not about letting inflation go. You're just looking through, and that's the critical part. It's very hard for people to think about what that means. But I'm looking through saying inflation 6, 7 months from now is going to start moving back closer to our 2% target.
Do you think that over time that the inflation numbers will be clear as to what the direction ought to be in terms of how much you should be cutting, and that whether or not you start to get that help from the service side and housing inflation starts coming down, and it'll be clear to everybody out there?
Yeah, that's why I said what we want to do is start cutting because of the labor market, but we can always adjust the pace depending on how the data comes in. So I kind of use this analogy that, when I was in college in northern Minnesota, I'd drive home for Christmas. I knew what the ultimate destination was, but how fast I got home depended on the weather, which is the incoming data. And that's kind of where we're at now. We kind of know we want to get towards neutral. We know roughly how much you might want to cut, say 100, 150 basis points. But how fast we get there is going to depend on the data that comes in.
Is the speed something where you feel like if you remain at a certain place, you're still putting downward pressure on inflation because you would remain above neutral?
Yeah, if your rates are above what you think is neutral, which for at least half the committee is 3%, then policy is still moderately restrictive. Some of my other colleagues have a much higher neutral rate, so they think we're barely restricted. So that's really kind of the thing, is where you think neutral is depends on how much you think there's restrictive policy. And I think we see it in a lot of sectors. You're not seeing housing taking off. You're not seeing auto sales booming. These are things that are typically interest sensitive on the household side that we're putting downward pressure on.
Turn to another important issue out there. Your colleague, Lisa Cook, has been essentially fired by the president. What's your reaction to that? Do you still consider her to be a Federal Reserve governor?
Let's see, this is in the courts. This is no longer an issue for me. The courts will be deciding soon how this is going to play out. So I really just don't have any comment.
He doesn't want to be the next one to get fired.
I haven't been at work that much. I've been in Jacksonville and Miami and everywhere else. So.
Let me ask just a few more questions about that. Do you feel as if
I think you should admit that, dude.
Challenge to the independence?
You haven't been to work that much.
The independence of the Fed is critical for everything we do, and there are things that are going on that make people worry.
Right there behind.
But I still believe that we have an
Oh.
independent Fed. People that are appointed will behave that way after a political fashion. So I think no matter what, the Fed will maintain its independence.
You are one of the people who have been named
Little boy.
as a potential candidate for Federal Reserve Chair.
We do not operate on Pete's time.
I've met with Scott in the past, but it
What the
wasn't.
hell are you doing?
It was just more of talking, with some of my speeches and things like that. So
Knock it off.
it was a while back, but
What?
we haven't had any kind of interview.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have one scheduled?
No, I don't at this moment.
So just one last question here. How much concern do you have for the economy right now and the consumer? Is recession something that's in part of your thinking, one of your outlooks, or is that you think we avoid that and just have slower growth? What's your baseline outlook?
Yeah, I don't see recession in my forecast at all, but I do see slower growth through the year, mainly because of the tariff impacts. I mean, tariffs are a tax. Taxes are never typically good for growth. So, you're going to get some slow growth out of this. But I don't see a recession. But I think there's a lot of other stuff that is driving the labor market down. And I do think it's all on labor demand. A lot of talk about immigration, and it's all about immigration. But if immigration was just a decreasing labor supply and labor demand was stable, you would see wages start to be bid up, you'd start seeing vacancies going up. We're not seeing that. So all the labor supply is doing is masking this declining, falling labor demand, which from a Fed's point of view is not a good thing. Our goal is not to say, hey, the unemployment rate is great while labor demand and job creation is falling. That's not what our objective is. It's maximum employment.
Ed Governor Waller, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you, Steve.
All right, Joe, back to you guys. Did you guys all take a vote? Do you have an opinion, Joe?
We think we should cut.
No, on who should be Fed chair.
Sorry. No, I was just speaking for my cut early and often, baby. Let's go. Let it rot. No, I don't know. I'm kidding. On which subject? On who should be? I like Waller. I do.
He's a research director, Joe. He worked for Bullard for a bunch of years.
I like Bullard too a lot.
You like Bullard?
I like Bullard a lot. I don't want to say. I mean, I love all my children. I don't know whether to say Chris or James.
I think we should have a little round table and take a vote, Joe, is what we should do. We've got Zervo's coming up later. We had Malpass yesterday. It's a tough call.
Yeah, we can all get around and take a vote, and not one person in the world will care what our vote is. We got to go. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Steve. Except us. Following the president's announcement that the U.S. would take a 10% stake in Intel, Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul called the move a step towards socialism. Senator Paul joins us this morning to talk industrial policy and more. We've had this ongoing conversation all this morning, Senator, about, we've said the good versus the perfect, and we've said, there are things that true conservatives like about the president's policies, things that they don't like. If I had to sum it up, you're not a big fan of tariffs or what you would call industrial policy.
Well, it's not that people in government, bureaucrats, are necessarily stupid or incompetent, but it's a debatable question. But they don't get the same signals. So the reason why you don't want your government to own anything, if possible, or to only get involved with those things that the private market can't, is that the private market sends a constant barrage of signals. And people have to respond to those every day. It's sort of a cruel world the economy is, but that's how we get efficiency, and that's how we get cheap prices for people on different products, is because people are forced. They don't do it out of benevolence. They do it out of this fierce competition as a marketplace. Once you involve government in it, you take those forces away that breed excellence. And so I think it's a big mistake to have government ownership of things. And of course, it's a step towards socialism. What is worrisome is when you see the people supporting the president just sort of saying, oh, no, this is good, and it is good that the government should own. And that really worries me, because I worry that the free market movement, the movement that was a big part of the Republican Party, is being diminished over time.
I know exactly what you're saying, and just to tell you how I've sort of tried to grapple with it, the money was already going to Intel from the CHIPS Act. And free market forces did cause some hollowing out of a lot of our industries, and there are some that we do. It would be in our best interest if we could bring some of them back. So the CHIPS Act was one way of doing it, but it was just subsidies with all these conditions. Once we already earmarked all that money for Intel, isn't it better if the government actually had a stake, and not a stake where they'd be active owners, but just passive owners? The taxpayers or the government owns the stake, but instead of just giving it to them, as long as they have child care and DEI, actually have a stake. If we ended it right here and it wasn't a slippery slope to owning 10% of every company, is there any way that's okay?
We've been giving poor people Coca-Cola for a long time, and maybe 10% of the money Coca-Cola gets is given to them. Maybe poor people should own part of Coca-Cola. No, it's a terrible idea. It's sort of compounding one bad idea with another. Okay, we gave them the subsidies. Well, let's rescind that. Let's stop that. Let's repeal the CHIPS Act. President Trump, as a candidate, wanted to repeal the CHIPS Act. He was an opponent of it. Most of the conservative Republicans were opponent of it. So it's always a mistake to say, well, we have this one bad policy. All right, we'll tolerate a little socialism, but we don't want any more. 10% is not too bad, but 15%, you get to 15%, then I'm
Right.
going back to being for the free market again. No, I think it's a bad idea.
You know, I wanted you to come on in July, and I told you, and this was after you once again renewed a criminal referral for Anthony Fauci. This is something I've been talking about a lot because I saw the smoking gun of him trying to get his colleagues to all say there's no way this was a lab generated virus, and there's a very good reason for him to have done that after he knew full well that the United States had funded some gain of function research, and it was walking and quacking, and it had web feet, and everybody knew, and that was, I think that deserves who cares what I think, but what are the chances that he's held to account someday at this point?
Yeah, big question is the auto pen, whether auto pen pardons are constitutional or legal or lawful. We do know that when President Obama first signed a law by auto pen, when he came back from his trip to India, he quickly did sign it in person to make sure it was seen as being legitimate. So I think there is some question there. I can tell you that we are pouring through millions of bits of data on Anthony Fauci. There will be a subpoena in short fashion, and there also will be news in the next week or two about things that we have found from poring over the records. There's going to be significant revelation about Anthony Fauci in the next week.
Okay. What do you make of the new of RFK Jr. and some of the new rules and some of the new developments we've seen with vaccine? That's what I think one of the downfalls of vilifying Anthony Fauci too much is that it plays into some of the people that are total anti-vaxxers, which I don't know if that's, there's somewhere in the middle, isn't there in the way we conduct policy?
Well, I'm not anti-vaccine, but what I would say is the same way there's a Trump derangement syndrome, there's a Kennedy derangement syndrome. There are some very specific issues we should discuss and where I think the facts are on Kennedy's side. Should we mandate vaccines for 6-month-olds for COVID? So we have to ask, what are the risks and what are the benefits? Are any kids dying from COVID currently? I think no healthy kids are dying. And in fact, if you go back through the entire pandemic, about 200 people in the entire country of 350 million people in America, about 200 under 18 died. Virtually everyone had a serious disease also. Virtually no healthy children died. When they did the studies on this, they could not prove that it reduced death or hospitalization because so few people under 18 were going to the hospital or dying that they couldn't prove a benefit. In Germany, they looked at every child under 18 and they had no deaths among healthy children. And so in Europe, they quit promoting this. I think the age is 12 and above in Europe. So these are really honest debates. And I think the extremists are the people on the side of every vaccine is good all the time, the more the better. We don't have to prove risk and benefit. We do know that under 18, really under age 25, there's a risk of myocarditis. Presents with chest pain and elevated cardiac isoenzymes, like a heart attack. It's not a heart attack, but this happens in about 6 out of 10,000. That's a small number from the COVID vaccine, but what is the chance of death? It's smaller than that. So you should be presented with these facts and given an alternative. If the CDC says it should be 6 months, many states just get lockstep and they put it into their school program and essentially it becomes a mandate because it's hard to go to school anywhere. Even the private schools follow this. So I'm against the mandates, and I think Kennedy makes a good point.
Senator, thank you. We appreciate it. We're running out of time. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again soon,
Sure.
Senator. Thank you. I think we're done. Are we done?
We
Goodbye.
are.
Jennifer's clock on the screen.
Bye-bye. That was fun. this Walk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla with Jim Cramer at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. David Faber has the morning off. After that rough start to September, stock's going to get supported today by mega cap tech as Alphabet's up 7% on that antitrust decision. Waller's on the tape, 10-year 428. Our roadmap begins with Alphabet. Shares rallying in some early trade after Google avoids a breakup in that antitrust case. Apple also getting a pop. The Treasury Secretary reportedly set to begin interviewing candidates for the next Fed chair as soon as this week. And lots of retail and consumer-related earnings out today. Macy's shares up sharply right now. Let's begin, though, with Alphabet up sharply in the pre-market. A federal judge ruled that Google does not have to sell Chrome or its Android operating system. He also says the company is barred from making exclusive deals, but can continue making payments to Apple and others for default browser placement. Judge adds Google must share data with rivals to remedy the company's online search monopoly. And Jim, a lot of takes this morning on what this means after being found guilty of monopolistic behavior.
Well, look, I have to appreciate the judge. He does a very, very good job. But the key pages are 36, 37, 38, which he says, okay, I made my decision. And then suddenly there's Anthropic, DeepSeek, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, and Perplexity. And they didn't really exist when this thing, XAI. But it didn't really exist. And suddenly, like, it was overrun by events. Now, that is a judge who he had to be flexible because the case was brought before these companies meant anything. While he was looking at it, he thought they were monopolists, and then this stuff all comes out. So the case just the actual events happened so quickly. This is something Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, predicted, which is that this thing's going to take over, and that's what happened. So why break up Alphabet? That would be ridiculous, given the fact that Alphabet is no longer going to do as well. That was their point. Now he said, "Listen, we're looking at what's going to happen, and what's going to happen is very different." As far as what I've been saying, when it comes to letter X or Twitter, is there's just great on page 122. There's this great thing. It says, "Why is Google still allowed to pay?" It says it's like Karen Dunn, who was the lawyer for Google once she's no longer at Paul Weiss, and that's a shame, but she was so smart. At one point I had to tell her, will you stop being so fast? Like, I went to law school, I don't know anything you're saying. Said that Google would continue to receive a disproportionate volume of search queries for a fraction of the cost if they didn't have to pay, so they would be even a bigger monopolist. That's something that the judge came up with. I did not read this in the brief. So Google's profits would increase. Not paying Apple alone would result in a windfall worth tens of billions of dollars. So he was more pro-Apple than Apple was.
Yes.
So I just think this is just, you got a judge who frankly is so far ahead of his time that this reminds me, it's a little bit, Microsoft, when Joel Klein was going after them in 2000, had a vision of what could happen, but he kind of stuck with the vision. Whereas here, because he felt you didn't see, it kind of felt, listen, Microsoft is monopolist no matter what, and the judge disagreed. Here, the judge thought they were monopolists no matter what, and then they changed their mind.
Right.
So I really have to hand it to the judge that I think that Apple's up 3.5, but Apple was down badly yesterday. I think Apple should be up 5, and I think that Alphabet should be up 6.
B of A takes Apple to 260 from 250. If you're Google, do you bother with an appeal? I mean, they clearly are.
Only just because you want to say I'm unhappy. That would be a big waste of money, but they have a lot of money. What to complain about? The question is, like, should justice go and say, look, we think that there's no way you should have these kinds of agreements, because justice spent a lot of time with Apple looking at this agreement. I don't think it's $20 billion. I think it's considerably more than $20 billion. But the main thing that people have to recognize, and the analysts seem to be a little clueless, is that before this, the question is, how much does Apple have to pay in order to have good AI? Do they have to buy Perplexity? What stream do they have to buy? Maybe they have to make a deal with Amazon, with Anthropic. Now it's split. They can go to all these guys and say, listen, do you want to be the #1 AI company? Pay us $50 billion. Pay us. We're not going to give a dime to NVIDIA. If you want to be #1, do you want to be big? Because if you want to be big, don't pay us. If you want to be Google, pay us. I think Gemini's in pretty good shape. Maybe I have to pay him $50 billion. Why
So
not?
is that scenario priced into Apple at the moment?
No, that's what makes me so crazy about it. Because I look at it and I say, now, everyone was talking about, like last night, Apple was down. There were some press reports that Apple lost its number one AI guy.
Yes.
Well, I mean, when you speak to Apple, they say, "Boy, we must have like 100 number one guys, because every time someone's taking, he's the number one guy," which is funny in itself. But this was one of those situations where, before this decision, Apple's going to have to pay because there's so much money invested buying NVIDIA. Now, Apple can say, there's 2.2 billion devices worldwide. Do you want to be the AI company that wins? Because there's a lot of companies spending 80, 90 billion a year on NVIDIA. And it is NVIDIA. Don't fool ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't fool ourselves. I mean, Amazon's spending money. But do you want to win? It's game, set, match if you pay us. Now, before, I felt that if they did that, the judge would be all over them. They got a green light to do that. So why can't you? So you get, what's the gross margins on that? The 50 billion that they're paid. How about, I don't know, 100?
It sounds like you think that precedent for Apple is more important than the lack of a breakup or a sale of
I
Chrome
was
or
looking for
Android.
a breakup in Alphabet because I thought the piece is worth more than the whole. But I have to hand it to Alphabet. They're very good. They're very smart guys, and it worked for them. And look, I thought it was a win-win, which is why I was kicking myself when we sold it for the trust. I said that was dumb. But I believe we had an analyst on who was one of our people who was a contributor who I listened to, and and that's nice.
Are you referring to Cantor this morning on Squawk? What?
Nice guy.
He did say that the judge missed an opportunity to
Right.
make a bold statement.
Right, you see, and I kind of felt that he'd make that opportunity. But how did I get that? From Jonathan, whom I like very much. He's from Paul Weiss. He's a great guy. And sometimes you think, well, you know what? It could be like that.
Yes.
And I do like him very much for a lot of different reasons, because his second case, I think, is the case that he brought, I think, is good. But I think that people have to recognize that before the case, Apple pays. After the case, you pay Apple.
You pay Apple.
Alphabet's good. They're doing a great job. I like Alphabet for YouTube. I like Alphabet for Waymo. A lot of reasons I like Alphabet, and I don't want them to lose Chrome. That could have been bad. But I just like the idea that Apple today is in a position to decide who wins. Who is the default
Yes.
AI system? Because I'm not going to go type in Perplexity forever.
Right. And
Anthropic.
and who do you think has pole position on that front? Is it open?
It's Gemini.
Yeah. Oh, really? Gemini?
Yeah.
Because of the...
Yeah, it's easiest because they wouldn't have to do much work. But I don't understand why people don't. I think the long lives are out for Apple. I also think, like, for instance, there are a lot of people who felt that this was built in. Okay, I really need information about who they speak to. Because I speak to people who didn't think this was built in.
The decision.
Yeah.
That some people feel this was
It
not
was
a surprise.
shock.
Yes, of course.
It was a shock.
Yes.
People felt it was hush money. You know, I mean, and by the way, 20 billion, it's like a lot more. Or people felt it's like, look, this is the way it's really done in the business. But what the judge says was, Apple is still going to have to give the stuff to Google because it's free, it's built in.
Yep.
Except for now, Google doesn't have to pay. Google can keep that 20 billion and become even more monopolies. Who thought he'd reason like that?
Right. How about, what's the fallout, do you think, from having to share data with competitors? Is that material to others?
No.
So that's really a sideshow to the things you're talking about.
Kind of read well. By the way, I think if people want to understand how the MLMs work and how the whole he did a review. First he says, "Listen, I'm not an expert," but time you read it.
You think he's an expert?
Wow. I mean, I think it was really good exposition of how this game works. Now Nvidia's not going up, but I felt like after I was like, "Ooh, Nvidia, it's pretty good for Nvidia."
Right. Well, we did crack the 50-day yesterday for the first time
now
since...
everyone Nvidia's like. I saw a headline today which says Nvidia beginning to shake off bad quarter, and I'm like, no, it was a good quarter. But look, the long nights are out. I mean, people would. I have Martin Marietta Materials on tonight. They make rocks. People like rocks more than they like Nvidia. Now I'm thinking that's interesting, right? Because
materials was a good performing sector.
Vulcan Materials is the #1 stock over the last 100 years, and they make rocks too. So my problem is that I still think that rocks don't have the growth that Nvidia has, but I could be way off base.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of if you get building construction, road construction, you're gonna need some rocks.
No, I mean by the way, 60% of the money's not spent yet. That from the infrastructure, they'll say that. I heard someone say that they were very worried about Macy's this morning. Well, they should go tell Macy's because Macy's isn't.
Yeah, we're going to get to Macy's pretty good comps and the quarter. We do want to touch on Lisa Cook's push, though, to stay on as Fed governor as she faces these mortgage fraud allegations. In a court filing yesterday, her legal team again urged a federal judge to rule the president's attempt to fire her unlawful and that she should remain in her role as the case is litigated. White House insists the president has the right to fire Cook for cause. Jim, she did go into, her lawyer went into some more detail about the home in Michigan versus the second home in Georgia, and the second home in Massachusetts is how they frame it.
Yeah, I think that you have to hope that she has to hope that what they say is, yeah, but no matter what, this does not, that doesn't impact. Somehow, they're not allowed to go after her because that would be against the carve out. I don't know. I mean, look, these things are, if you buy homes, there's a protocol. But I do think that the carve-out seems like I still can get a hold.
The other part of the argument is that this was on background forms during her confirmation process, and if there had been questions, either White House advisors at the time or senators could have raised them.
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I don't think you look the other way, but I do think, look, the process is very difficult because you have to say what your primary is and what your secondary is. And I don't know the situation of when it changed and that's in the documents. I don't have like that.
Yeah. Meantime, Steve Leisman tried to get Waller to comment on this stuff, didn't get very far. Although he gave a couple answers on rate cuts, but maybe we should listen to the one on Fed independence as well. Here's Waller on Squawk from earlier this morning.
The independence of the Fed is critical for everything we do, and there are things that are going on that make people worried, but I still believe that we have an independent Fed. People that are appointed will behave that way and act in a political fashion. So I think no matter what, the Fed will maintain its independence.
Said he hasn't interviewed yet, although we think the Treasury Secretary is going to start interviews Friday. Jimmy clearly thinks tariffs are a tax and that they are going to slow growth and that they might represent some near-term inflation push, but that the Fed needs to look through that to the part that will be about slower growth, not faster.
Yeah, look, when you speak to the retailers, they're all speaking of it as one. Look, okay, I had an issue when yesterday, Signet. Okay, now that's Zales and that's Kay and Jared. And India is where they source. But
I think it's like half their merch is from India.
But they didn't cut numbers. They raised numbers. So there's a lot of companies that I think are handling this very well. So I'm not, look, is it inflationary? Yeah, but yesterday was a day where people were saying, wow, this is really going to hurt us. Before, everyone, when they first put them in, said, well, they're going to hurt us. I mean, you can't have it both ways. There's a lot of anti-Trump stuff. The tariffs are raising a lot of money. And so if you take that money away, then people think that's what causes the 30-year go to 5.25. So you can't have it both ways. You can't hate Trump for the tariffs, then hate Trump because there's no tariffs. If the court, if they say that about tariffs, I don't understand how you can have it both ways. But only if you hate Trump, no matter what he does.
Well, I think it's more a matter of where the tariff money is coming from, right? I mean, if he argues it's other governments, most economists agree it's a small percentage, actually, that's being paid by foreign
companies. I just keep thinking, like, even the biggest, like Apple, they can move things around. Apple's the toughest one because of China, but because we don't know what's going to happen with China. I mean, China it's like the axis of the 1951 with North Korea invading South Korea.
Well, and they have this military parade this week. Putin and Kim Jong-un in attendance. The president yesterday accusing Xi of plotting with Putin and Kim to conspire against the United States.
Well, I think the president is wise to know that this is a country that's run by the PLA. It's run by the People's Liberation Army. It used to be run by people who are a little more attuned to the world order. Now it's run by the military. And people don't talk about it like that because it's pretty naked, but I think they will be talking about it very soon.
Meantime, we're getting some comments a few moments ago from St. Louis Fed President Musalem, a voter, says recent data have increased my perception of downside risks to the labor market. Core inflation running closer to 3 than 2, reflecting some tariff effects. He says tariffs will work through the economy over the next 2 to 3 quarters. The inflation impact to fade, he says, after that. inflation to reach the 2% target in the second half of 26, and says that there are some risks higher inflation could be persistent. Policy must be based on evolving economic outlook, balance of risks. He did not comment on possible rate cuts at the next Fed meeting. But Jim, you put that together with Hammock and a few others, and a growing sense that we will be living with this for at least another half a year.
But we do have a K economy, where the top part is not being hurt. The wealthy people aren't being hurt, but there are 1,000 billionaires. Do you see that? Wow, that was even more than when Lenin came in Russia. But you have the K thing where it's like the top is people who are oblivious, okay? And then the bottom are the people who can't afford Chipotle.
Right. Now, how many times have we gone through the percent of wealth in this country that's owned by the top 10%, top 1%?
I mean, look at McDonald's. And, they did have to take this back. Now, it's entirely possible. I have Salesforce on tonight. And Salesforce is talking about layoffs because of AI. Those are expensive people. We know that are layoffs for the government. Let's put it this way. Who's hiring? Tell me who's hiring. I read that MSNBC's hiring, but that might have been trade.
We are going to get some labor data today in JOLTS, which will be important to look at. Jim mentions Chipotle, got some sell-side research on that name and McDonald's.
Finally there's someone down here who says it's fine. That $28 chicken burrito bowl I had's a lot. But maybe I should have just gone and picked it up and not given the DoorDash so much money. Look, I think that Chipotle is down to a level where it's still got a high-priced earnings model. Not that I want to go out and buy Cracker Barrel. That guy shouldn't have been there, or he should have been there. I don't know. I mean, Julia Messina's pretty fun. She's good. I mean, she's the CEO of Cracker Barrel. But I look at, I think that it's still too early to buy Chipotle because the upper part of the K is not as big as the lower.
Yes. We'll get to some of the other retail moves, including Macy's, Dollar Tree, Campbell's. We've got some auto numbers on the way as well. Take a look at futures. More Squawk on the Streets. Back in a moment.
All right, good morning, everybody. We've got about 10 minutes until the market opens. Just getting some of these levels updated. Making sure the stream is operating correctly. I think everything is good to go. One of the things I'm going to be interested in seeing is where are we opening at with the Volt and the ADD this morning, along with where we're at in relation to value on every index. So I'll show you guys a little screenshot here. I'll throw this in the Discord. Everybody is, or I shouldn't say everybody, the NQ and the ES are above. The Russell is inside, and the Dow is also inside. We got some poor structure down here on the on the NQ at 22,745s. Given how red yesterday was, I don't really feel like we're going to go back down. I think we could see another bullish day, but try not to predict. Let price tell you what is happening. And we'll go from there. We'll set up our opening range. Given that we've already taken out the Asian highs and London session is still above those, it's floating right on the opening of the overnight session at 64.48 for the ES. And a little bit further above for the NQ. NQ opened up at 23,382s. We're at 23,458s. Is that about 70 points above?
Ford is out with its latest figures for U.S. auto sales. Let's get to Phil LeBeau. Morning, Phil.
See if we can break those London highs
Good morning, Carl. For the month of
off the
August,
open.
Ford sales up 3.9%.
Maybe fill that gap above at
The breakdown
23,500s.
in terms of
It's only 20
EVs
points
versus
above
hybrids
us.
versus internal
If you're looking
combustion,
for a really
EVs up
quick scalp, that
19.3.
might be
This is what we're going to see from a number of automakers.
that might have some potential. I would
By the way, the Mustang Mach-E
take a
up
peek at where we open up on the tick.
up 14.
So we got about 10 minutes. I'll be back on the mic once we open. Hope you guys are having a good morning.
Vehicles up 2%. Again, Ford up 3.9% for the month of August. Guys, throughout the day, we're going to get a number of automakers reporting August sales. You will see strong numbers, but exceptionally strong numbers when it comes to EV sales, because anybody who was on the fence, they're committing right now. Before the federal tax credit goes away at the end of September, we're seeing that. We saw it in July. We're going to see it in August, and we'll really see it in September.
Hey, Phil, I know that trust you enough to go with Mosaic. Any way I can say that it could be as many as 17 million vehicles this year?
I don't think the full year will get to 17 million, because we're at about 16.1 million right now, Jim. I think we could probably get up to 16.5. You're going to see strong numbers in August, strong numbers in September. Again, mainly because you have so many people who are on the fence saying, well, I want to get this federal tax credit, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. Then the question becomes, what do you get in October, November, and December? Look, November is decent. December has always been strong over the last 15, 20 years. October is, you never know what you get with October. But I think we're going to probably end closer maybe to 16.4 million, 16.5 million.
Yeah, we'll see what the fall brings us and what rates have to do with that and a lot more, Phil. Thanks, Phil LeBeau. More Squawk on the Street in just a moment.
Just wanted to call out, I noticed the delay is a bit longer than usual. 5-10 seconds, so sorry about that. We'll see if I can improve that. I would hope, though, that a few seconds of my trades and calling out aren't something you're relying on. Again, it's better for yourself to become self-sufficient in this game than relying on folks out there. I understand some people don't have the time, though, so they only want to hear entries and exits, but this is not that type of a stream, so just want to clarify that.
some gainers pre-market. We mentioned Alphabet. We'll get to earnings as well, including Campbell's. Apple's in there as well. Not far behind Western Dig, as Morgan Stanley names it a top pick. We'll get the opening bell in a few moments. And don't forget, you can catch us anytime, anywhere. Just listen to and follow the Squawk on the Street Opening Bell podcast.
Alright, so I found the low latency setting. Hopefully that will improve. I don't know if I have to shut the stream off, turn it back on. I'm just going to leave it, but hopefully that will help. Okay, I think I actually found another issue there. I'm going to kick this stream off and then I'm going to turn it right back on. So you guys might have a new link. I'll drop the new link in the chat. Sorry for that. I'm just going to make sure that these settings get saved.